Webinar on the Constitution Week. I am Susan Metzger, National Chair for the DAR Leadership Training Committee. This webinar is filled with information and ideas for celebrating Constitution Week. You may wish to refer to this webinar as you plan your chapter activities and state activities. It would also make for a great program for your chapter or state. A recording of this webinar will be made available through the webinar archives page under the DAR Leadership Training page on our members website. You can also find a link to the recording on the Constitution Week Committee's page. The information contained in this webinar was prepared by Jane Thomas from Greensboro, North Carolina. She is the National Vice Chair for Constitution Week for the Southeastern Division. In addition to this webinar, Jane maintains a website called historybell.com, where you can find more information and templates for promoting Constitution Week. The website is mainly a resource for teachers, but you will find some great information in there for your chapters. If you have questions about Constitution Week after this webinar, please contact Jane through the email shown on this slide. Since we are celebrating the 125th anniversary of the DAR, it is a good time to remember the history behind Constitution Week. The tradition started in 1955 when President General Gertrude Carraway, on behalf of the National Society, petitioned Congress to set aside September 17th through the 23rd annually to be dedicated for the observance of Constitution Week. The resolution was later adopted by the U.S. Congress and signed into public law on August 2nd, 1956 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. 60 years later, Ms. Carraway would have been pleased to see what our chapters are doing to promote the Constitution today. The goal of the DAR during Constitution Week is simple. Let the public know that the Constitution is being celebrated during the week of September 17th through the 23rd and publicize it in as many places and in as many ways as you can. We want to remind America that the Constitution is a living document that guarantees the freedoms that all Americans enjoy. Have you checked out the Constitution Week Committee's page on the DAR members website lately? Click on the toolbox and you will find resources, materials, and ideas to use for Constitution Week. It has the Constitution Week minutes, sample proclamations, and spot announcements for the media. There are suggestions for activities to do and information about bells across America and Constitution Day. An extra bonus is a planning calendar. Best of all is having the list of online resources all at your fingertips. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Let's all get our chapters to recite the preamble or read a Constitution minute at each meeting. Print it in our yearbooks and have Constitution Week minutes in every issue of a chapter newsletter. If you are a member of your chapter's Constitution Week committee, be sure to use copies of the preamble in Constitution Week displays and encourage schools to have students learn the preamble. While some committee members are getting busy getting supplies together in August, have other daughters contact members of the community to tell them about Constitution Week. You want to ask them to help promote Constitution Week, and you can also offer to provide a program if they have regular meetings. Be sure to contact your local and state government officials, school principals, college faculty, churches, local businesses, newspaper editors, TV and radio stations, and all other civic and lineage societies, either electronically or in person. The community is often very willing to help us promote Constitution Week. All we have to do is ask. Businesses will put Constitution Week, September 17th to the 23rd, on their invoices if reminded. Churches will ring their bells and put an announcement in bulletins too, if you send them blurbs to use. Principals are great about signing our proclamations and passing them along the information that we provide to their teachers. With a little extra effort, we can also get more radio and television stations to run public service announcements. Government officials are always happy to stick in snippets about Constitution Week in their monthly newsletters to their constituents, and often give programs on the Constitution as well. Displays are the very best way to get the public's attention, especially if they are eye-catching. You want to put displays all over town. You can buy $2 posters from the DAR store or make your own using heavy stock paper. Stick them up anywhere you can get someone to give you the okay. Stores, service stations, doctor's offices, college bulletin boards, etc. Make some to give to schools for later also. The larger displays are even more fun to put together and provide more information than a single poster. You definitely need to ask for some extra decorations. A mob cap and tricorn hat, like shown in the photo, are very easy to make for colonial children. The smallest displays are the little restaurant cards shown in the upper right photo in this slide. Each little card counts as a display. Ask your local restaurant if you can place the folded cards on tables. Templates for posters and restaurant cards can be found online through the resources under the Constitution Week Committee page on the DAR members' website. There are many places to put all the different types of displays. Storyboard boards make great library displays. You can find fact sheets and pictures to put on the storyboards on the DAR members' website. The same items on the storyboard can be enlarged and put on bulletin boards as well. You might want to start a collection of colonial and patriotic items that you can use in different displays year after year. Three-dimensional items always add that extra pop to an informational display. Items such as flags, quill pens, and candlesticks can be found at historic sites and national park gift shops if you're looking for that authentic replica. Any Dollar Tree, Party City, Target, or Walmart will have inexpensive patriotic goodies, especially around the 4th of July. The largest displays are usually outdoors. You can't tell by the photo on the left, but this farmer's market sign is on a major interstate and is very tall and was viewed by millions. Look for electronic signs around your community and see if they will run Constitution Week promotions too. You want to make a special effort to get every school that has a marquee to announce that September 17th through the 23rd is Constitution Week. You could also design an 8-foot by 4-foot banner like the one shown here in the photo. A member's husband designed that banner, had it made and presented to the chapter. It was placed outside the local library during Constitution Week. Working with schools should be one of your top priorities during Constitution Week. There are lots of fun things you can do. You can make Constitution kits, put together a bulletin board for a teacher, or have a mock signing of the Constitution. You can dress in colonial costume to take part in a colonial day or to give a program. You can read books to classes and then donate the book to the school. You can help students with projects and then direct them in a play about the signers. You may want to sponsor a poster contest, devise some type of photo op, have a birthday party, and lead younger children in a Constitution Week parade around their school. The DAR members website has so many resources available for Constitution Week materials and program ideas for classroom visits. From the DAR members website, under the Constitution Week Committee, you'll find a link to the HistoryBell.com website. The HistoryBell.com site offers several fun and creative items for download, including a guessing game and Stump the Class story cards. Elementary school children would love to sign Happy Birthday America cards and color flag sheets to later paste on their classroom door. And who doesn't love to get a new bookmark, a small American flag, or a bell to ring? These art students are making a Constitution. They made Constitution Week labels for water bottles also. One exciting way to commemorate Constitution Week is to host Constitution Week events. These can be done in countless places, on a college campus, a military base, at a historic site, a park, a courthouse, in a formal garden, on a battleship, or at a retirement center. Plan something special for Constitution Day on September 17th. Many chapters have bell ringing ceremonies and invite junior ROTC color guards, city leaders, and other DAR chapters, as well as the SAR and CIR societies to participate. The next several slides contain activities that DAR chapters have reported as ways to commemorate Constitution Week. Consider making a special Constitution Week Pinterest board. Have students write a rap about the Constitution. Paint a spirit rock at a high school. Wear your DAR ball cap to teach flag etiquette to students. Sponsor a contest about the Constitution. Have Constitution Week balloons made. Put flowers in churches, and the possibilities are endless. Take part in a Constitution Week parade or have a booth at a festival or fair. Hand out small American flags at the mall. Are you a teacher? Ask your students to learn and recite the preamble to the Constitution. They love to see who can say it the fastest. Fly the flag at your own home and be sure your city does the same. Offer to decorate a storefront. Make flag yard displays. Put posters throughout your community in approved areas. Coordinate with your local news station or public broadcasting station to share a Constitution Week program or interview. Help a Girl Scout troop make a Constitution quilt like the one shown here. Each year, chapters and states report their Constitution Week activities through the Chapter Master Report. Through these reports, we have learned of hundreds of creative and fun ways DAR members are participating in Constitution Week. Here are just a few highlights. One chapter had a 6-foot reproduction of the Constitution to use as a photo op at a local high school. Another rode around in cars with Constitution Week signs on the doors. And there was a town crier who strolled through downtown proclaiming Constitution Day. People came out of stores and eateries to hear what he was saying. Similar to the photo op with the Constitution, a chapter provided a photo cutout of James Madison where town members had their pictures taken with the father of the Constitution. Several chapters joined together to celebrate a naturalization ceremony on board the USS Battleship North Carolina on Constitution Day. Other daughters rang bells at historic courthouses. Use all areas of the media to share information about Constitution Week. Write articles for newspapers, for your chapter newsletter, and for magazines. Do radio and television interviews. Send public service announcements to radio and television stations. Write letters to the editor. Put notices in church bulletins. Post info on blogs and Facebook. Create a clever video and put it on YouTube. Tweet celebrities and people on the Today or Good Morning America shows. They might just retweet your message, expanding the word about Constitution Week to a wider audience. Get your newspaper to print the mayor's proclamation. Try to get your paper to donate a whole page announcing Constitution Week. Send announcements to civic or other lineage organizations to put in their newsletters. Give Constitution Week programs in schools and for any group that asks you. Answer your phone during September 17th through the 23rd with Happy Constitution Week. We have even had some members wear a sandwich board with Constitution Week on it during lunchtime. And one of the best ways to spread the word about Constitution Week is just to bring it up in conversations. The DAR members website is packed with resources for Constitution Week. Some of the additional resources include presidential proclamations, NSDAR announcements and materials, and links to additional resource areas. Be sure to check out the DAR members website under the Constitution Week Committee to browse these great resources. Report all of the great ways your chapter commemorates Constitution Week in the Chapter Master Report. Use detailed descriptions of your activities and specific numbers when you can. It will help your state chairs in preparing her report and for identifying award recipients. Some clarification of what to report for a few of the Chapter Master Report questions. Question number 1 asks how many times the preamble was recited or a Constitution highlight was offered at a chapter meeting. The number you enter here should not exceed the total number of chapter meetings that you held that year. Question number 3 asks for a total number of groups that rang bells. If you contact churches in your community that have bells, count each church you contacted as one bell ringing for that question. Do the best you can in determining square footage for displays. And one last tip, don't forget to count your classroom visits as Constitution Week events. You, your chapter, or your state society may be recognized for your outstanding volunteer work during Constitution Week. State awards are presented by state chairs at state conference, and national awards are presented at Continental Congress. Check out the Constitution Week Committee page on the DAR members website for specific details. Congratulations to all of you who won state and national certificates of award this year. Be sure to enter the National Poster Contest, and we might be buying one of your posters at the DAR store next year. National Constitution Week Committee Chair Louise Devaney and Jane Thomas, National Vice Chair, Southeastern Division, reported how much they enjoyed meeting so many of you at the Constitution Week table at Celebrate America Night during Continental Congress and expressed appreciation for your stopping by to introduce yourselves. They were energized by your enthusiasm. Email addresses for both Louise and Jane are listed here if you have questions. The final and most important suggestion is to get as many of your chapter members involved as you possibly can and just have fun promoting Constitution Week together. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar will be made available on the members' website on the DAR Leadership Training Committee page under Webinar Archives. A recording of the webinar will also be posted on the Constitution Week Committee page. A few questions were emailed to us in advance of this webinar. So I'm going to go through each of those and provide some brief answers to them. The first question that was asked was, we have many other civic, historical, and patriotic organizations in my community. Can DAR partner with other organizations in planning and delivering Constitution Week committees? That's a great question, and the answer is absolutely. Engaging other local organizations such as your Historical Society, Rotary Club, and VFW is a great way to spread the word and increase the impact of Constitution Week. And you may also find that you help recruit members to your local DAR chapter by engaging some of those other civic organizations as well. The next question that was asked is, are students or other non-DAR members eligible to enter any of the Constitution Week contests? And the answer is that each of the awards and contests offered through the Constitution Week Committee are specifically for DAR members, chapters, or state societies. However, your chapter or state may consider a special Constitution Week activity that offers a contest for non-DAR members. Ideas could include a poster contest for students or a letter to the editor contest. And then the final question is always a good one. Will this webinar be made available for use at my upcoming state fall meeting? And absolutely, this would make for a great program. A recording of this webinar will be posted on the DAR members website under the DAR Leadership Training Committee page under Webinar Archives, and a link to the webinar will also be made available through the Constitution Week Committee's page. So if you haven't even figured out what your first chapter program might be in September, perhaps you'd like to use a recording of this webinar as your chapter program and celebrate Constitution Week that way. I'd like to thank the committee, the Constitution Week Committee again, and Jane Thomas for helping pull together tonight's webinar, and thank each of you for your attendance and participation in this webinar. And I hope you each have a wonderful Constitution Week. Thank you.